Why I love movies is it this is an interesting question, an interesting video idea that I was thinking about. And this is kind of a personal video to me, but I think it's necessary to make a video like this and just explain why this stuff is so important to me and why this whole channel, my whole person thing like that is movies. I guess so. This is gonna be a very personal video, but I think I wanted to make this video to just. Here's the thing about YouTube lately when it comes to movie coverage, reviewing movies, these things, and just life in general. I mean, not even just talking movies on YouTube, just in line in general. Whether you're talking Twitter, Instagram, these social media websites, just filled with negativity. Even the industry of like reporting stuff, they're always motivated. Like I was reading a lot of reviews for Bros that were like, this movie is leftist propaganda, and then you know, this movie hates the right, and blah, blah, just all these different political opinions. And I'm just sitting here like, guys, I just watched a funny movie. What did you guys watch? Like it's these type of things. And where I'm at with a lot of these issues is I care so little about any of this because I started YouTube a couple of years ago. All right, I'm not getting into the main topic yet, but I want to talk about this for a minute. Not a couple of years, about it was probably about 5 years ago or so. I had an original channel, and this is my newer channel that's more refined and things like that. But I started on YouTube the year after 2016. Now, of 2016 is really where YouTube and the constant negativity really started. If you guys want to know where the anti-wokeism shit came from, it came from 2016 with Ghostbusters and things like that, where they'd recast the film with women, and there was an uproar of sexist man babies who didn't like it. And I hate to call everybody that, but it's clear that over the years there is a large percentage of those people, because those people have now run with that and called everything Star Wars and Marvel starring a woman terrible, even though that's just clearly not true. And I do agree that the filmmakers and cast shouldn't have called out their audience, said all of them are sexist. Yes, that was a huge problem with that movie, but it's clear that there was a level of that, and still is very present. And so, you know, as a young teenager listening to this stuff, it did influence my political opinions, and that bled into my movie reviews and made me a very negative person. I've since learned from them, and I'm not that person I was anymore. But I came into YouTube when being negative and not liking things was at its height, and it's is basically how I felt back then. But now it's even worse, and I realized over the years, why am I doing this? Not why am I talking about movies? I know why I'm doing that, but it's forced me to look deeper and go, why am I talking about things I don't give a shit about? I'm mad about shit that doesn't even make sense. And you know, it's time that I work on spreading positivity. When I reviewed Don't Worry Darling, a movie that, yeah, it's a bad movie. I went into it with this angle of, I don't want to tear this movie down. There are some times where I just feel like talking about a movie that I thought was really bad, and I'll call it out and be like, that was shit, like Halloween Ends. But even Halloween Ends, I'm sitting there like, there are things I appreciated about that movie, things like that. I'm trying to come at these things with not a hateful mindset, a way of going at it and saying, look, I love movies, and I want to talk about the movies I love, and I don't want to. And when I'm disappointed with a movie like Don't Worry, Darling or Halloween Ends, I don't want to come at an angle and go, "Screw this! This was awful." I want to explain why it's awful, but I also don't want to be coming at it with a narrative like some people do. I think Don't Worry, Darling. A lot of people don't like Olivia Wilde. A lot of people don't like Harry Styles. So they're coming at this with this angle. They're tearing it apart. They're ripping it to shreds. And you're going, well, is it really as bad as they're making it out to be? Probably not. It's still bad, but, you know, be constructive. Be meaningful with your criticisms. And that's where I'm at with this stuff. So I'm coming at this video just to explain why I do this, why I review movies, why I talk about movies. And it is going to be very personal. Um, but I think that's better to help you understand why I'm a critic, why I do these things. Because no one pays me to be on YouTube reviewing movies. No one pays me to have this wall of movies behind me and collect all this stuff. No one pays me to have all these posters that you'll see in my background from time to time. No one pays me to have all these books related to movies or figures or whatever it may be, keychains, whatever you think I got, I probably have. No one pays me for any of that. It's just it comes out of a love. And let me explain why. So, I think I've had an unconventional childhood for a couple reasons. I am on the autism spectrum. Um, and now, part of the symptoms of my form of autism is that you grow passionate about things more than most people would. Now, mine is very mild compared to most cases of it, but basically for me, uh, it has been movies. Now, luckily, because my autism is a lower form of it, I feel like I've been able to branch out from just movies. I'm a music fanatic. I collect records, I go to concerts, I got CDs, I got, music collectibles. But I mean, but there are certain times where I'm really into Star Trek, and then I'm moving into Star Wars for a minute, and then it's, so that's part of it too. That's a very mild part of it, I would say, because I here's the a lot of people ask, "What's it like being autistic?" or whatever. Most people on the spectrum will tell you that's such a dumb question to ask because they don't feel any different or really act much different from normal people, depending on what part of the spectrum they are. There are worse people off on the spectrum. Most of them don't feel different. They feel different because of the way people treat them, if that makes sense. And so, like for me, it's not really that type of thing, if that makes sense. I feel different because people tend to treat me a little bit different. Not so much that I am different, if that makes sense. But where this really started was, I can't even remember how old I was. If you guys don't know, in real life, I am an amputee. I have been for about 3 or 4 years. I forget. It sounds like a weird thing to forget, but it's like it becomes so normal part of your life that you stop keeping track of like dates of when things happen. Also, this is about 7 years of my life before that where I was in and out of hospitals having surgeries because you can look up more information about this. I'm not going to go into all the medical details, but basically what I had in my leg was what's called an AVM. It's like a tumor, and it was wrapped around muscles and veins. They couldn't just go in and remove it. So they tried different forms of treating that. I was off and on unable to walk, things like that, and eventually they had to amputate and deal with those sort of things. So what you deal with that sort of thing is you're isolated because you're a person who's in and out of hospitals. And so a lot of times I was going to hospitals out of town. So, I'm watching movies on the ride there to the hospital or I'm listening to music. And that's kind of where my love for these things started. I've never been a kid who's had a lot of friends or relationships and things like that. In fact, I really just entered in my first actually major relationship a couple days ago, and you know, these are things that I've never truly had before. And so when you look at these things, uh, movies of all I've had most of my life. Um, there was about a year of school where I was taken out of school and kind of homeschooled just because it was not sustainable for me to be in school and get an education because of what pains I was dealing with. I had, and I think part of movies too is not just our own personal connections with them, it's other people that we go with too. Now, over the years, like I said, I don't have a lot of personal connections, so I've gone to the movies more often than not alone, and I'm just used to that. And I think more people should get more comfortable with that. I think a lot of people are afraid to go to the movies alone. It's not really a fear to go to the movies alone. It's actually a wonderful experience, honestly, sometimes. Yes, most of the time I'd prefer to go with other people and share those kind of experiences, but if I can't, I just go by myself. And I think more people should be comfortable with that sort of thing. Um, but let me get back on track. Where was I? So, God, I'm my brain fart. Basically, you know, when I was out of school for so long, I had a great grandmother who she was about 90 some nine in her 90s, and I think people don't really recognize how much of a blessing it is in someone's life to have someone that old whether in their life, whether it be a grandparent or a great grandparent, because people don't live that long. Yeah, I know people go, well, life expectancy goes up, with better healthcare, things like that. But realistically, most people start, their body starts degrading at a certain age and it just starts happening. And most people just don't end up living that long. And so for me, most of my great grandmother, she had a little bit of dementia. My grandparents would go out on Friday nights, and when they would go out Friday nights to the movies on their date nights, they had me sit with her because, she didn't like to be alone. She just needs someone there, and so they go watch a movie or go to dinner and they enjoy themselves, right? And so I would sit there on Friday nights. Sometimes it was after school, and then when I wasn't in school so much, it was just a regular thing. I would go over, spend the night on Friday nights, and we would watch movies. And it was always fun to see her reaction because obviously I'm a younger person. Like, I was like, this is how young I was. I showed her Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this 90-year-old woman, and she was like, "What the hell is this? Turn that off." But other times she loved it, and then it's like I also had a great uncle. Uh, Both of these people are no longer with us. It's pretty sad, but life happens. He passed away of lung cancer, but me and my mom would take them out to lunch and to the movies and things like that. So they would go. So we went to the show. I remember taking them to Monsters University, which I still love and loved back then. I was really obsessed with that movie when it came out because I was younger and I had all the plushies and stuff. That was fun. Uh, I remember seeing Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I remember having a giant Captain America poster for that movie and Amazing Spider-Man 2 poster. And you will not hear me talk positively about Amazing Spider-Man 2, but back then I had this Jamie Foxx's Electro poster. I thought it was cool. God, I don't even like remembering that because that poster was terrible. That movie was terrible. But I'm just kind of saying, these are kind of where my love for things came from is I got to share those movies with people. I think over the years it's gotten a little bit sadder, where those people are no longer with us or with me, my family, just in general. And so movies have become a little less special for me because, my great grandmother in a lot of ways was like another mother figure in a way. And her death has rocked me to my core for many years. It was a very sudden thing, very hard thing for me to deal with, a thing that I deal with very silently and alone. But I'm making all this to say, that's why I love movies. Is they're memories that I've shared with other people. Uh, you know, I mean, I even look like this. Me and my dad don't ever get along about most stuff, whether it be politics, whether it be just most things. Okay, but it's just nice every once in a while. The one thing we agree on is like a damn movie. Even then, it gets difficult. We don't tend to agree on a lot of movies, but these things that we just tend to agree on and finally find some common ground, things like that. And I think that's the beauty of these things. So, you know, even the hardest moments in my life, I've had movies. I've been sad, and there's been a movie that has brought me to a place that's better. Um, BoJack Horseman, I really got into that show, and that helped me realize I was asexual. Um, because there was a character in that show that was best represented me in a lot of ways. Um, I was also dealing with depression at the time, and it was about characters who were very screwed up. And I'm not as screwed up as the characters, dear God, no way. But it got me to a place of understanding myself, what I was dealing with, my anxieties, things like that, how to better deal with that and manage those things. Secret Life of Walter Mitty inspired me at a young age when I wanted to make movies and be creative, which I still kind of have a desire to do. I haven't really decided where I want to take that. I know I don't want to make movies anymore like I used to think I wanted to do, but maybe I want to play an instrument later on in a few years and things like that. And it's just, these things are things I think about. And I don't know. This is just, it's almost hard to talk about this. I almost feel like crying, but these things have been there. And music's been the same way for me, right? I always equate, my favorite song of all time is The Horse with No Name by America, the band. Great, great, great 70s song. It's a classic song. I'm sure a lot of people know it, but if you don't know it, definitely check it out, listen to it. And why that's my favorite song is it's it's about escaping life for a while. And it's music like that that's made me think, helped me out in life. And so music, movies, and things like that, yeah, we use them as escapism, but there's a little bit deeper level of escapism because yeah, I'm escaping into it, but I'm also taking what I've learned from it, applying it to my own life, and bettering myself in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, that's why I'm a movie critic because I don't have a lot of people talk about these things with anymore. Me and my girlfriend talk about this stuff now and stuff, which is great. I love her a lot, but I do talk about this with other people, of course, but there is like a level that conversation is gone because I don't have the people I used to go watch this stuff regularly with anymore, and it's just kind of sad, but I still love these things, and I still, in a way, me talking about these things is carrying on their legacy because they loved movies, and it's just I'm keeping that alive, that spirit alive, that thing alive. And I hope this video will encourage you to share your own story of why you love movies. But go ahead, do that in the comments. And also just share why this stuff means so much to you. Why do you review movies if you review movies? Why do you do that? You know, it's something that I think all of us as people should be more willing to open up about, because all of us love movies. All of us love these things. All of us want to be a part of these things. And I think that we need to be more positive as a community. And I think some of that starts with how we talk about things. And does our love of things come across? Right? Because I can talk about Star Wars. And sometimes when I'm talking about Star Wars, I'm sitting there going, man, that doesn't sound like I love Star Wars. That sounds like I hate Star Wars, and it's a piece of trash, you know? And not to say you can't be negative about things you love. You totally can, but you have to make sure that in some way your love of these things still comes across, and that you're there for these things. So yeah, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that when you watch my videos from now on, you kind of see why my approach is the way it is, why I talk about certain things the way I do, and why I feel that when I started this channel, I was trying to be similar to other YouTubers who maybe were more negative, or YouTubers like Chris Stuckman and things like that. And I've since realized I needed to grow my own voice, and I think I've really grown to do that. There are a lot of videos that on my channel, Chris Stuckman would not make the same way. He would not talk about these movies the same way, and we have very unique and different opinions. And I think I get comments on my videos now on a regular basis during the week. I love your videos. You're a great reviewer, things like that. And while those are generic comments, they still mean a lot to me, because it shows me that I have done a lot to get people to watch these videos over the years and see me as a very unique critic that they want to tune into whenever I post a review and stuff. Because YouTube is a place full of hundreds of thousands of critics who probably do better job of reviewing movies than me. You can watch Jeremy Johns, you can watch Chris Stuckman, you can watch all these people, but then you come to me, and that's special, you know? I'm not saying that, I never claim to be better than anybody. I just think that's meaningful, and I think this was an important video for me to make. Sorry the video's so long. To be honest, when I started this video, I thought, oh, maybe it'll be like a 15-minute video, and I've been talking for almost 25 minutes now, so I'm gonna go watch Tales of the Jedi now, and thank you guys for watching.